I think he's the opener bout. He was the second bout, but I think the first bout fell, so that puts him being the opener.
Man, he said yesterday, he was like, man, I'm riding high. He's like, we just beat Bivol, meaning you guys' camp. You know, I was like, wow, there's a lot of credit to be all involved in. But
I mean, and I don't blame him. He was there. He was there in camp with Bivol. That's one of the things that I like about Dimitri Bivol. He's a gentleman. He's a very humble guy. When he was training, he didn't mind anybody being around him. He was always friendly with everybody. He was always happy when everybody was training along his side. That's why Miguel Gaona was always there at the same time that Bivol was training. So that's what he says. Hey, that was our win.
It's the team, man. It's the team, brother. You know what I mean? You feel it.
Yeah, of course.
Just recently, Bivol WBA ordered Zurdo Ramirez as the mandatory. Do you know anything about that? What's going on with that? And how did you see that fight playing out?
Look, the only thing I know is that the WBA ordered the fight. But in boxing, there's the business and there's the politics. We'll see what they decide to do. Obviously, if the WBA orders that fight, it doesn't mean it's going to happen. I mean, there's still negotiations, right? I know, his management team and his promotion is going to do the best for Bivol, take him the right route. If Zurdo Ramirez is the right route, then that's the way we're going to go. But I don't see a problem. I don't see a problem with Zurdo Ramirez and Bivol. I think Bivol's level of skill is a little bit above Zurdo Ramirez. Zurdo Ramirez is a great Mexican fighter. I respect him a lot. I have much respect for him as a fighter because he's always kept his composure and he's working up. In a long career, he's been working very, very hard to be where he is. But throughout my knowledge, I can tell you that Bivol's skill level is a little bit above and smarter fighter, and it will be a great fight. But I think Bivol will beat him at the end.
Is Bivol kind of contractually even able to do that fight? Because I know there was a rematch class. Canelo decided to go the Triple G route. So does that mean Bivol's kind of free and clear, can do what he wants?
Well, now that Canelo took the route to go and fight Triple G, obviously it opens a spot for Bivol. So Bivol has options. He can go with Zurdo, or he can go with anybody else. That's the thing. That's the option that he has. We're just gonna wait to see what his management team decides to do, which is the best route for Bivol, and that's where we're going.
He's in a great position, man. Coming up, probably the biggest win of his career. And now he kind of gets to choose his path, which is awesome.
Yeah, I mean he earned that. He earned that spot where he has a right to choose which way to go. And I think that if he decides to go Zurdo Ramirez, it will be a great fight for the fans. It's a great fight. It's a great style matchup. But we'll see what happens. I think that Bivol's ability, footwork, and great boxing skills will beat Zurdo Ramirez at the end on a decision.
I have to ask, man, the fight that I would assume all of us want to see right at light heavyweight is obviously the undisputed with Artur Beterbiev. What do you think of Beterbiev's performance versus Joe Smith, and how does the Bivol Beterbiev fight play out?
I think Beterbiev is a strong bull coming forward. He comes forward. He's a very strong fighter. Against Smith, I honestly saw before the fight, I predicted the fight to go that way because Beterbiev he takes no for an answer and he just keeps coming. And that's the thing. He's like, who wants it the most? And that night, Beterbiev wanted it the most, so he came out with a victory. I think Beterbiev and Bivol will be a great fight. It will be a great fight because stylistically, it's a great fight. I mean, I cannot choose either or, even though, I was part of the Bivol's team on the last camp. Beterbiev has solid punch. He has a dynamite in his punches, but at the same time, Bivol is very slick. He has great defense, great footwork. He's very smart. So I give it a 50-50, but, if I have to lean towards a decision fight, I think Bivol will win.
He's also very tough too, which is kind of
Bivol has power. Bivol has power in both hands. But you know, when he's in there in the ring, like with Canelo, he was using more volume than power. You know, just to secure the rounds and come out with a win.
Brought up Canelo, obviously he's fighting Triple G. How does that fight play out? I mean, obviously Canelo's coming off the loss of Bivol, Triple G. Look,
At this point, Canelo choosing Gennady Golovkin, I mean, it's the right time. I mean, the first two fights, a lot of people were like, you know, were in doubt. Some people thought that he lost the first, that he lost the second. So the third was a charm. And I think that this one, after 4 years, you know, now that Triple G aged a little bit, and his last fights, honestly, he hasn't looked that great, you know? I mean, when he fought Derevyanchenko in New York, I honestly had Derevyanchenko winning the fight at the end, you know? So I think that on this one, I'm not taking nothing from Triple G. He was a great fighter in his prime, but at this point, he's no longer in his prime. I think Canelo, by the 10th round, he'll stop him.
Man, a fight I've been wanting to pick your brain on. Spence Crawford, right? It seems like it's going to happen this year. Which aspect of Spence's game does Crawford need to be worried about the most, and vice versa? Which aspect of Crawford's game does Spence need to be worried about the most?
You know, I have much respect for both fighters. I like them both. They're great athletes, great human beings, you know, and they're some of the best athletes we have in the sport right now, and we give credit to them. But at one point, I had Terence Crawford in my gym, helping Tim Bradley get ready for Manny Pacquiao stuff, you know. I got to know him personally, and I got to know him in the boxing level, the boxing business. That kid has a lot of weapons and his artillery. Spence is a great fighter. He's physically strong. He's smart. But if I have to pick either one, I will pick Terence Crawford, because Terence Crawford can switch lefty, righty. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, he's a right-hander, but he switches lefty and he fights lefty. He's a very technical, he's a great technical fighter, very smart. He sets traps. He plays with his head. I mean, I don't think Crawford will knock out Spence, and I don't think Spence will knock out Crawford, but in a decision, I'll take Crawford. Why? Because he's elusive. You know, he switches lefty when he's not comfortable righty. He'll distract you. He'll play with your mind, you know. And Spence is very focused. He's center coming forward, trying to break you. And I don't see much changes in Spence in a fight. He basically stays with one strategy from beginning to end, and that's breaking you. And to break Crawford like that, you need more. You need more than one plan. You need more than one plan to break Terence Crawford.
It's interesting you say that, because Bernard told me that yesterday as well, kind of that he's seen Spence have to adapt, or I'm sorry, Crawford have to adapt, and he changes the game plan, and then he, you know, obviously the results are
that's the benefit of Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford has that benefit that he can switch. He can switch. If he doesn't feel comfortable, he'll switch until he's comfortable and adapts to whatever benefits him to win the fight.
Well, what I approached Bernard with that though is, could that be maybe that what Spence does kind of from beginning works, and that's why he doesn't have to adapt? Because I mean,
well, yeah, but I mean, when you have a fighter that doesn't make many adjustments, but Terence Crawford makes adjustments every time, you know, because he can fight right-hander and left-hander, and he's great at both stands. So that's the problem. I mean, I saw him beat Victor Posto. Victor Posto prepared himself for a right-hander or a left-hander, and he came the opposite, you know? Like, you can't prepare for Terence Crawford, because Terence Crawford can be training right-hander and he'll switch to left-hander. So you can't prepare. You gotta have a plan A, plan B, and plan C to beat Terence Crawford. Not only plan A.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's incredible. He's incredible. Just last last one, man, I want to get your take on. I don't even know if you saw it because prior to it, you told me you weren't going to really watch it. Kambosos versus Devin Haney.
No, I didn't see it. I didn't see it.
No? You never, no?
I didn't see the fight. I mean, there's fights in boxing that interest me, and I like action. You know, I like action fights. You know, I mean, when I have to fight, when I have to watch a fight that I'm just, you know, hoping it ends fast. You know, I don't like that. You know, I mean, I'd rather switch the channel. And honestly, I mean, no disrespect to the fighters, but I mean, everybody has freedom of choice, and I like more of an action fight than a technical fight. You know, there's a lot of technical fighters out there. I mean, I love Floyd Mayweather, but Floyd Mayweather was technical but with action. You know, Floyd Mayweather was always a technician, but he was a technician with action. And there's fighters that are basically just trying to look pretty in the ring. When you're in boxing, this is a fight. You know, you gotta give the fans what they want to see. They want to see a fight. They don't want to see a dancing contest or a modeling contest. You know what I'm saying? I just like to see fights. You know, and that's my opinion. That's my style. I mean, I'll go to a bar and I'll watch a fight, and I enjoy a fight at a bar better than a fight like that. It's just moving around the ring. You know.
I hear you. Oh, well, thank you so much, brother, for your time, man.
No
Best of luck tomorrow, man. It's always a pleasure to talk to you, man.
Likewise.